So the one in 30 seconds, there is an ad starting in 1 minute 54 and it's pointless starting the stream and then coming into the ad straight away. So I'm going to watch for the ad to finish and then we'll resume. Obviously this is part 5, point 5 sorry, to what we did the other day, and then we should be able to resolve the issues because I worked it out. So obviously 3, 2, 1, we're off. 1 minute 23 we do have the advert, so obviously we'll kill some time till then. I did say the other day I knew Theo was going to be on. Theo was going to be home soon. He's here now. Childminder's actually on holiday for a week, so he's here right now. So obviously it's going to be a short one, just to quickly resolve the issue. I've got the TV on to keep him entertained. He wants to build his model train station today, so we're going to do that. So I'm going to quickly get this done as he's waving the glue at us. Yes, Theo? We are going to do it just after Daddy's talked to these people to how to fix this issue. So 40 seconds and the ad starts. I don't want to snooze it because obviously you only snooze it for a couple of minutes. So yeah, but obviously we've got the Pi. I haven't got the side camera on so you can't see the Pi, but I've got the Pi plugged in. It's its first boot that we've done. It's waiting to install the additional parts that we need to add on for the VNC. But there's also something briefly I want to touch on as well. So 8 seconds, 7, and there's Theo there. He's joined the stream. So the ad's starting now.
That's me.
So obviously just wait for this ad to finish. Now I think the ad's ran. It's not appearing on my screen that it's running. I know it is. It's still going. Ad break ends in 1 minute 40. So obviously I just want to make sure everyone's here before I start this one. Actually we've got no views at the moment, so that's fine. Obviously I will keep looking around to see what he's doing. So I'm just going to quickly hurry on to the... So briefly, quickly just show you this. So obviously we saw this the other day. What did actually get released the day that we did this stream is Bookworm. Bookworm is the latest Debian kernel OS. It's great. Bookworm, obviously it's more up to date, and that only issue is if you want to VNC into a Raspberry Pi 1 or 2, you can't with the latest version, but you can with Raspberry Pi 3, 4 and 5, which is coming in 10 days time. So obviously what I've done is I've flashed these, which if you go to other and using the legacy, so I've put Bullseye back on here. So Bullseye's on both these Pis at the moment. So obviously same as we did before, it's just using the slim version. So obviously 32-bit light of legacy, choose your storage, where your storage is, and then write it all out. Obviously I filled in all the information. I saved this information to keep it there for the next time I do it. Now it's not one RPI. The one I've got today, because obviously one RPI is the one that we will be using going forward. This one is JMRI Pi. So what you do is inputty, like we did the other day, is go in this way, then log in. So I just log that in. Let's say it's the first time it's logged in. So what I'm going to do is, if I just change the settings, appearance, I'll make the font a little bit bigger so everyone can see this. So first off, sudo apt update, just to pull the latest repositories. Now, as I say, this is the first time this has been booted, so there'll be quite a few updates there to install. I have plugged the Ethernet in this one, so hopefully it's a bit quicker than we have had in the past than using the Wi-Fi. So we'll just wait for that to update, and then I'll tell you the command that we type. So just wait for that to fire through. And again, there's quite a few updates there. That's required. Knock the side light on. I say there is quite a few updates with there being a fresh install. It's reading, it's done the reading. Then it'll be doing its validating to check. Building the dependencies. Right, so obviously as it's saying, it's went from stable to old stable, because obviously this is a legacy version. If I just do, like we said the other day, press up and grade, just see what's there. If it's big amount, I'm not going to bother doing that one. 111. Yeah, might as well. Let's just get the yes going on it. Let's not skip anything. So obviously start off sudo space apt space update. Let's just like check Windows updates like we said the other day. Then we do apt sudo space apt space upgrade. This is now install, download and install all updates. So that's what it's doing there now. So then after this, before we go into the configuration, there's another thing we need to install, which is xserve-xorg and rashipi-ui-mods. Them two is what provides the desktop that we're going to use on here. Once we've gotten that, then we'll get in the Raspberry Pi configuration. In the configuration, enable VNC, which then installs VNC. Then we set up auto boot into the desktop. Doing that, yes, it will auto boot the desktop. Security wise, it's not ideal, should log in every time, but because we're doing this in the house, it's fine. It's not going out the house, it's staying in here. It's only plugged in when I'm like with it. So obviously that's why I'm going to do the auto log into the desktop. If you are want to do it, you can do boot to the desktop without logging in. So every time you VNC into it, you're going to have to log in each time. That's fine. It's totally fine. So it's downloaded the 111 meg for them updates that were from the old legacy of Bullseye image. So just wait for these to finish. Just glad it's the weekend. There's a few things that we're going to be doing. Did get confirmation as well that the Marvel Zombicide Kickstarter is on its way. It's currently in the Netherlands, so we'll be doing an unboxing video for that. Obviously it'll not be at this desk. I'll be doing it in the kitchen, so obviously I'll move it into there, or I'll move the camera where it's visible, where we can get somewhere decent. And obviously because I'll have Theo with us, me and Theo will do the unboxing, so we'll see how excited a 3-year-old gets over taking things out of boxes. So this may be a bit slow because it is a Raspberry Pi Model 2B. Isn't the quickest. Obviously it is running to SD card. I did the other day though, since Raspberry Pi had upgraded to Bookworm, I upgraded the Orange Pi didn't do that this way. I actually did this through the distribution upgrade, which when it comes to being stable in Legacy, when VNC becomes stable in Legacy, what I'll do is I'll do the upgrade to it. Through the command, and I'll show you how to do that at the point when we get to that. Obviously it's not going to affect us doing the electronics. Once we're getting the Pi set up, then we're all starting at the same starting point. I probably will do, obviously because I am putting these to YouTube, I probably will record an offline version of this install, obviously I can speed this side of things up, and I'll put it up there for a quick cheat sheet. Also, obviously the website as well, I'll do a quick guide on that, which will have the cheat sheet on there on what we need to do with all the commands to type in. Obviously I'll not be doing that one as it's a photo image of what you need to type in. For quickness on this, because it's just setting up the Pi and we're not learning the coding, I'll do that as plain text in code. But again, didn't need the IP address because it's got its unique name that I give it within the Raspberry Pi imager. Obviously setting the host name, the router picked up that, so when if I did search for one WON RPI, obviously it's offline because it's here, not plugged in. Because this one's GMRI Pi, because this is the one that I'm going to be using for GMRI when we get to that. It picked up through here, so obviously that's all I needed to insert into PuTTY to get that running. So 25% complete. And yes, we saw Alexa Bliss pop up there. It's 30% there. Obviously I need to sort this light now as well. It's coming in the winter month, so the lights all change. Obviously it's quite dark, it's miserable, rainy up here in the northeast of England. But then there's no change there, some people would say. So while that's running there, I'm not going to install it yet, but obviously if I go to Max, I'll increase the size of this font as well. It's a 16 font. Restart the session. So even though that's updating there in the background, I can't run the command for the next update yet until that's finished, but obviously we're prepared, so I can just show you this if you need to skip ahead. So for this one, it's just sudo apt install space then xserve -xorg space then raspberry pi -ui -mods. So that command there is what we're going to type in and install once this is finished. Now this here is what gives us the desktop, the Raspberry Pi OS desktop, to use. That's where we had the issue of the day where it kept booting us out, so it didn't like. I can't remember which one we installed. It's not one that I normally use. This one does. Obviously I've done this repeatedly multiple times since we last streamed, just to make sure we're on top of it. And it does work. This is the correct way. This is the step that I missed out. Obviously, because normally in the past I use the full-blown OS, which like I say needs 11 gig minimum SD card, which I do have, but obviously I want to make it as small as possible to show you guys. So obviously that's the command that we needed to get. Xserve is the desktop. Start X is what starts the desktop. So that's the part that we were missing on the light version, but this gets around it. But like I say, if I did actually hit return on that, it'll say that it can't install because it's locked. see it's all locked, and I'll just keep spamming through there until the other one's finished. But let's not, if we do Control and C, kills the command, let's just let that other one finish. 45% there through, and again I can just press up, so we're ready for that next command for the Raspberry Pi one. And you'll see once we get this up and running, the desktop is very quick. Orange Pi is not as quick at the moment. I don't know why. I think it's because of all the stuff I have installed on there. But see, that just when it comes to actually using that, I'll probably flatten it and start it again, and just put on what we need. Because to be honest, all that's going to be running potentially is GMRI and the Arduino software to upgrade the Arduino when there's new versions of Command Station. Now I am sitting a bit awkwardly as well because I found out that my chair's broke, so it could collapse at any point until I get a new chair. Some I'm going to be looking at the other day. Some of that does need a backrest because I rarely sit on the backrest. I think that's where it's knocked it, because when I do throw myself back, or the kids have been climbing on it, sort of over the years it's given way, and it's literally one of the corner metal parts is just snapped, shattered, and then I noticed in the middle it's done the same. So not good, not very safe. I say we'll get rid of that soon. What I did do though on the yesterday, obviously since I had Theo, we did upgrade the Walthers Trainline GP15 using the new decoder buddy. Never used it before. Relatively straightforward. I'll definitely be investing in another one of them to try for any more HO trains that we get. It was just so straightforward. Even down to didn't know where the LEDs needed to be hooked up to. It was just trial and error as I was moving it forward and backwards, just testing the pins. Found out, oh, there's power going to that, there's the rear, there's the front. Worked perfectly. So our Grace is now happy that her GP15-1 is all 100% digital. I'd be interested to see about the more lights you can get in there, because you can have up to 8 LEDs, just to see where's them LEDs come into it. Again, that's why I need to play around with GMRI to check the CV codes that they used in there. So 86%, 88, 89. See, it just starts flying through. It's upgrading the SSH server. This should have a reboot, as it says at the top line there. A reboot is required to replace the D-Bus daemon. Now the daemon's the services that run in the background as well. So just come up to the last part. Upgrading the Python, 95% complete. And again, what I'll do is when I set off the Xserve -Xorg and that in the Raspberry Pi UI mods, when that's running and installing, I'll jump back to that rear screen. In fact, I might switch them around, so you've got one big, one small. So then we can, in fact, I could probably... No, I'll just leave it the way it is. Right, so that's now finished. So in this other screen, hit enter. Goes and does the check, dependency tree, sees if there's anything else other than that it needs, which it does. We know that. So it has a gig disk space will be used, because there's a lot, like I said. So if I hit yes on that, that there, I'll download the desktop in the background. That will, as I say, take some time to run there. It's like 48 minutes it's saying there. We're not going to be letting that run for the full 48 minutes. So if I just come back over here, do sudo it's crashed, I think. Has it died off? Oh, just run slow. Dash config. So obviously in here, let's see, it is got a lot of resources that it's running from doing this install here. That's why it was a bit slow there. So the 40 odd minutes has went down to a minute, but I know that the install side is going to take a hell of a lot longer, because it's got the fonts to install the desktop itself. So back over here, So obviously this is the configuration. As you can see, Raspberry Pi 2 Model B Rev 1.1. Whatever version of Raspberry Pi you're using will be shown at this top bit here. So obviously in here you want the system options, boot auto login, and it'll be B4 desktop auto login. Can't do that just yet because obviously it's installing in the background there. So if I just come back and cancel that, if we go to interface options, VNC, then it'll be yes on the VNC. Again, I don't think this will install because we're already, when you're doing an update to Debian, yeah, say it's locked. When you're doing an update to Debian, it puts a lock file in. If the lock file is present, it won't let you do any more updates or installs because it will interfere with what it's doing at that moment in time. So obviously that's where this needs to be finished. Again, it's going to take far too long to get through that. To say I'll just be leaving that run there in the background. We'll see. We might just let that run through. We'll see how it goes. Just downloading a 3 megasecond. It's not the download part that's the slowest, it's the installation. That's the part that's the slowest. So just let that run through. As that's running through, I'll grab my coffee, have a quick slurp of that. It says up and down like yo-yo. It said 3 minutes there a second ago, now it's back to a minute. Minute, 16 seconds. It's gonna be up and down like a yo-yo. But as we can see, it's got the get colon 571. That's the 571 part it's downloaded so far. 572, 88% complete. Remember, if you do like what you're seeing, obviously hit that follow. Keep following us, because we will be moving on to true electronics with the Raspberry Pi using the GPIO, as I mentioned the other day. Obviously, try some other accessories we can add to it, because you can run webcams. We have the camera that it can run from the ports, the onboard camera. Well, no, it's not on board. It's using the ribbon cable. I'll have to dig them out actually, because I'm not 100% sure they're working. Because the ribbon cables are quite flimsy, and I have trapped them and cut them a few times. Like I did, as I say, I did have one in the 3D print. It's not there now because it got caught in the print extrusion itself, which wasn't good. Then obviously linking it to this Raspberry Pi is the Arduino that we'll be using, and just trying to get it off there because it wasn't sitting properly. Yeah, and obviously the motor shield from DCCEX, which again, not used that, and I've just realised there's a pin port on the side. I wonder what that's for. I've never actually looked too much into this, like the schematics on it. But obviously it does have the connectors for the power, which I do like that. It might be a bit too small for our power cables, but we'll see. Can take up to a 30 volt power supply, 9 to 30 volt. Mine's variable, just the way I've set mine up. It's actually got an OLED output. Didn't notice that until now. But they are very hard to get a hold of these. High demand. Every time they get the stock in, they're out the door straight away. Yeah, it's taking its time. 1% complete. This is what will take the longest. So yeah, that board is Motor Shield. I'm just reading the guide there now. So it's rated for 5 amps continuous output current. It's got 2 outputs, obviously the main and the programmer track. Obviously if you don't understand what that is, we'll show when we get to that point of things. 5 volt and 3.3 volt compatible, so obviously it can be powered through the USB. Optional OLED header to connect this display directly to the shield. It'll be interesting to see what other people have done with this. When it comes to this side of things, if people are interested, obviously I'll be posting exactly where you get these from. I'll just double check mine set up correctly. It is. It's in the right position. I say I knew this would take some time. 'Problem with the waiting game. And it's like I say, once this is done, that's it. You don't need to do this again unless you need to redo a new SD card, which is very rarely that I actually do that. I think with the train, I think it was over 2 years since I did that one. And when I did do it, I trashed it and just started it again, which is good because you got to try and remember what you actually installed and set up on there. Which on what I've done on the train set one, used the GPIO to have a shutdown command button, so I can press a button, it'll shut it down. Press it again, it'll turn it back on. Which we'll set that up on here. I'll show you how to do that one. That's a handy one to know. That isn't part of the tutorials that I've got. Obviously, that's an off the cuff one. I also have one which, if I press a button, it'll kill an application, and I press it again, it'll start the application. Sorry, it'll just kill the application. I've got that one. I haven't got it where it'll start it up again. Haven't worked that bit out yet. I've also got an LCD screen attached to it, which tells me the current IP address that's in use. I've also got it where it'll tell me what the access point IP address is, because there's 2 network cards in it, so I can take the box elsewhere. I have got issues with it because if it's not plugged into the network, it doesn't report on the LCD screen, it just dies. So I need to work out how to resolve that one. Trying what else I've got. It also tells you the current time. It tells you if GMRI is running with a true or false command. But this is more reason why as well I wanted to create these videos, so I've got my own way of looking back into where I went wrong and remember how to fix it again if I need to. So 40% complete. Joys of the desktop. I think as well that the VNC side of it's about 111 meg as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just know when I did this the other day, I set them off and just walked away. Just left it running. What we'll do though is we'll kill that one off just to free up some resources. Maximize that one. Now, if this is right, I've never noticed this until now. It's got 197, 198, 109, 200, 201. If I remember correctly, it was 500 and odd. I was up to, so we're nearly halfway there, if that's me thinking's right. It seems to sped up a bit. Let's check my Linux server while this is run through. 19%. $21, getting there.
But I don't accept them. Them food ice them.
22, not even quarter of the way there yet. Obviously, the content will be a bit more informative when we get into the desktop, which obviously will be, might not be next week, might not be the week after, obviously it's half term. The week after that is when we'll knuckle down in this. What I'll do is I'll play a catch up. So instead of one a week, I'll get a few done just to play the catch up. Obviously we'll do the LED one, and then I'll see what we'll do after that. Obviously I need to make a list of, I've got the full list of everything that we're going to go through, but obviously I'll make a list of like, we'll do this on day 1, this on day 2, because some of them is like literally, this is how you do it, it takes 5 minutes. I'm just saying, we need to have a bit more to it, but we'll get that padded out correctly. Just needs a proper sit down. Obviously I can do that with the kids while they're off for the next 2 weeks. So I see we've got 2 viewers, so thanks for joining. So we're just waiting for this to install. The desktop for Raspberry Pi on Bullseye, although Bookworm is out.
Done.
Yes. So what Theo telling us that the dinosaurs danced on TV.
Do like that. Do like that.
He's doing it like that, is he?
What is that?
27% complete. Of 349. It was 570. I'm sure it was. So it's taking some time. It's not like Windows, where I'll get to that 99%, and that 99% is actually like half an hour. It is normally a genuine figure that it produces. Obviously it can't tell us how long this is going to take, because obviously it would have to calculate the process of the memory, storage and all that. It can do it for the download, because obviously it's already got the numeric value of what the download speed is, so it's easy to do that side of things. The install, it just can't. And once we're in there, you'll see what I mean. Like, it is very much like Windows. So once this has kicked in and we're getting the VNC installed and the desktop installed, yes.
Hear that noise?
We will get into VNC, so I can show you how to connect with that, and obviously that's where we'll be stopping at this moment, like today. And then I'll just get a cheat sheet done in the next 2 weeks and upload that to the website. So you don't have to sit and watch these videos, because it is like watching paint dry. 29% complete. So I'll just go and fill my cup back up. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Just thought I'd do the dishwasher while we're waiting there. 38% complete. 40%. Nearly halfway. So I think my figure was wrong, 'cause it's just 519. I don't think there was 1,000 odd. Good thing though, finished Mortal Kombat 1 yesterday. Really good game, enjoyed it. I liked how it ended. Pick your character, run the tower. Definitely potential for more download content, which we know there is download content for more story. Yeah, that could do a lot in the content. So I'm looking forward to it. Just got a side game to play with it now. In Johnny Cage's mansion, going through the portals. But I'm going to start Starfield. No, that's done. So I've got 4 more levels on Diablo. I'll not hit 100. I've lost the interest in it at the moment. So I'd sort the stream part out there. get the top banner up. It's been a while since I sorted that out, and obviously things had changed. So 46% complete. Unpacking 600, 603, 4, 5. Nearly hit the halfway mark. Halfway. There we go. So 625 it's unpacked. Now it's doing the final parts, setting them up, creating the sim links. This part should fly. So obviously they start off doing the download. Now it's done the unpack, which is part of the install. Now we're just doing the setting up. And obviously it's adding it into its own self-database so it knows when it doesn't update or an upgrade, what's installed, which version, true version number, which is what that last part is after the brackets. Sorry, between the brackets. Mm-hmm. 68%, 69, whee! Flying now, flying through it. So we are now hitting the hour mark that we've been streaming for. I say, I knew this wasn't going to be quick. But, like I say, when we started, it was a fresh install from the legacy. Using the latest version, there is no updates there. There's no need to do all this. I say it doesn't work on Raspberry Pi 1 or 2 for the VNC until real VNC pulls the finger out and resolves their side of the issues, which is why they've advised if you don't need VNC, go with Bookworm. If you do need VNC, which we do for this exercise, then use the legacy version. So if you are using like a Raspberry Pi 3, 4, or if you've been lucky enough to buy pre-order a 5, go for Bookworm, minimal. The minimal you probably still need to do what we're doing here, except the desktop. The desktop is automatically on there. If you are using the older versions like myself on these, because say I didn't want to use the latest ones for this. Because I always find a lot of tutorials like, oh, using the latest one, is like, well, not everyone has the latest one at hand. Let's use the older generations, prove that we can still do it on older kit. Like I say, these are about 7, 8, 8-year-old, the Model 2s. So it still isn't a recent-ish kit. It's still powerful enough to do what we need to do. So take it from there. I say, well, obviously we'll try the Orange Pi to see what can we do on the Orange Pi that we can't do on the Raspberry Pi, and what can we do on the Raspberry Pi that we can't do on the Orange Pi. So obviously this does have the Wi-Fi built in. It's got the Wi-Fi antenna, which makes it a lot easier. Like right now I can just plug this in, which what I'll do is I'll get it all booted ready, and say it's using a USB-C straight in. Light comes on, goes red, checks if there's a NAND SD card, then it hits green. There we go. That's it now booted. And I can just VNC into it. Which if I just fire up VNC viewer, fire up Orange Pi, say straight away, what's the password? That's it. It's still booting. But that's the Orange Pi. That's this little computer here. At the start. It's got all the application we need. Just since upgrading it, the desktop changes every time I boot it up. So if I just fire into that, click back on that, move it along, move it there. And it's got the multiple desktops. Calendar, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, who's logged in, applications. And that is, say, credit card sized computer. Like even to the point, get the web browser open while that's finishing off there in the background. I say the Orange Pi is slow at the moment because of all the junk I've had installed. I need to start it again. For browsing, it's fine, but it's just the reason it's slow is because it's got every single one of these installed on you. I just need to have give it a good clean up before I go on. But good thing is, if I close that down, we're now up to date on this. So now sudo Raspberry Pi -config. Obviously I'm not fully typing, I'm just pressing the tab for quick command. System options, S5, auto into desktop. That does its configuration in the background. Obviously we're not seeing it. The screen will go back to the blue screen, say yay or nay. Whatever it does, it may need a reboot. There we go, that's fine. Interface options, so that was number 3. And then i3 for VNC. Do you want to enable it? Yes. That now goes off. Does the install again for them applications, which is just real VNC server, which that is what's not running on the new Raspberry Pi. They're using a different one. I haven't looked too much into it yet, but it only needs 32 megs, so this might be actually a bit quicker than what I expected it to be. I think it's because I didn't do the update when I was doing the quick trial runs. I was like trying to do the skips, but I thought no, let's just get it from the start. So while that's doing that, what we can do here in VNC viewer, we can do a new connection, and what you can type in here, if you know the IP address, put the IP address in. Obviously I'm just going to use the computer name, which is JMRI RPI. OK on that. That's just hitting the return. Again, these are all my VNC servers that I have running in the house. Some of the old ones, like I think that's an old one that we don't need anymore. Yeah, they're both the same. So I can just delete that one. This is the one we're going to use. If I run it now, it'll just try connecting because it's not actually running yet. So we're just waiting for that to run. But I say a reboot is going to be needed for this. Let's wait for this. Obviously what's done there is it's starting the service, activating the service, like enabling it. It's a bit backwards, should have done that prior. And I can see activity on the Pi, so it is still doing things. So we've got the VNC is enabled. So what I'm going to do is get back to this, double click on JMRI Pi, I'll pop that in the corner, okay that, finish on that, need to reboot, yes, let this reboot while that's sitting there. Type my credentials and I'll just leave that run, because if I just do a restart on that, we should see the login prompt at the bottom appear. If I maximise this, it's attempting to connect to the desktop. It's waiting for the Raspberry Pi to boot into the desktop. Obviously first time going at the desktop may take a minute or so, but just leaving that there, it'll keep trying every couple of seconds till it actually gets the GUI loaded. Then that'll change from the rotating sun to the actual desktop, and it should auto log in as well. But this has got the connection obviously to this Raspberry Pi right now. There you go. It beat us to it. And there's the desktop. Logged in. So size that what we need it to be. So now we're into a VNC terminal of the Raspberry Pi. Start menu, very limited what got installed in here. That's the point we should be at. We've got the configuration there, which is a graphical version of the Raspberry-config that we've been using. So just a graphical version of this. Let's do that. So obviously this is the terminal version. It will load up the GUI version, which is there. So as there you can see, we auto login, which we enabled before, to the desktop. We can change the host name if we wanted to. We're not going to. We can change the password if we want to. We've got the displays. We can change interfaces. Obviously, I'm not going to change anything here yet. We will be changing these as we go through. But you can see what's enabled, what's disabled. Performance, if you need to change and overclock it, including the fans, which obviously is on the newer version. Localization, which we already set up prior. The only thing it doesn't have on there, which if we go to this one and go to advanced, expand the file system. Sometimes it does that when you first boot, sometimes it doesn't. There you go. It's now finished that, so we'll finish on that. Yes, reboot. As that's rebooting, you can see it knows it's disconnected itself. To attempt to reconnect, it'll be increasing the file system of the SD card. Because sometimes it used to only take a portion, a couple of gig. Now it'll utilize the full card itself. And once that's done, it'll start X in the background, which will start the graphical UI. Then we'll have the desktop and it'll automatically connect itself. Then once that's done, that's where it will stop for the day. 1 hour 10 minutes. Not too bad. It has actually took an hour because it takes about 5 minutes to get through the start of the stream with the intro. Now we've got an X on the screen. That's the mouse. And there we go. Back on the desktop. And that as well will stop there. So we can just shut this down. Hit the Raspberry Pi, which is the start. Shut down. Shut down. This will black. There you go. That's it. Shut down. Done. That's how easy it is. So now we're at that. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously this is a 0.5 release. This is just to resolve the issues that we did have. Next week, not next week, couple weeks time, we'll be back with the first set of tutorials using the Jeep IO for the LEDs, motors, LCD screens, OLEDs, and playing around with that. So I'll see you then. Cheers for tuning in.